Just a brief introduction on my background. I'm Dr. Gary from Faculty of Medicine. I mainly teach clinical aspect and some public health aspect. My basic degree is MBBS with a Master of Public Health. I'm not very involved in the social aspect, but my main area is in the clinical aspect. But I can brief you a lot on the overview of the whole dengue, not only in the clinical aspect, but on the field base and what they do in the field. So most of the time you see in the advertisement, you see everywhere they are telling you dengue, how to protect yourself, and most of you already know how to do that. Not wearing black clothing, try to keep yourself away from dengue by putting on mosquito repellent, wearing long sleeve and long pants to avoid mosquito bite. And of course, most of the time they ask you to clean your house, remove the stagnant water. So all this you have known. I don't really need to go through so much detail. So the good point is that my slides will take about 20 to 30 minutes and you can go back to your class. I hope most of you here are not being forced to come. I hope. But if even you have been forced to come, I hope you gain something when you go back. And hopefully you implement rather than knowing it but not implementing it. Okay, so let's go through the slides and we will have a chat after the 30 minutes or 20 minutes. Let's see what is your idea on it. Perhaps you have a good idea or creative enough to prevent dengue, then you can bring it up to me, then I'll see how we can work in a research basis and test up your ideas. That is one of the key objectives that I would like to see during my talk. So along my presentation, you can stop me if you don't understand. If you want to raise questions, you want to ask anything, you can just raise your hand. I can just stop and explain to you. Okay? So as we all know, dengue is a virus. Okay? It's divided into, it's not divided, it has 4 serotypes. Basically you have Den 1, Den 2, Den 3 and Den 4. In the current research, we have found another Den 5 virus, possibly Den 5, has not been classified Den 5, but it's genetically different from this common 4. There's a significance to it, but I will explain to you why we found another one and what's the significance. So most of the time, from the time of biting, when you got bitten by the mosquito, you develop symptoms after almost a week, 4 to 7 days. It's called the incubation period. You don't need to know the details of them, it won't appear in your exams. So after this 1 week, you will need to develop fever, high-grade fever, and possibly vomiting, abdominal pain, or sometimes diarrhea. Most of the time, people are either over-conscious of their health status or under-conscious. So some people actually come to a clinic after they got bitten by the mosquito where we can't actually assess you. There's no symptom at all and we will tell you to go back, and if you have fever, then you come back again. So if you get bitten by mosquito, don't go to the doctor immediately. They can't do anything unless you develop some serious symptoms. Mode of transmission, mosquito bite, mainly Aedes aegypti and Aedes albopictus and other Aedes. I just got a very good information from the inspectorate from the Pejabat Kesihatan Daerah Hulu Langat. They are very well versed with the entomology, which is the mosquito side and how to prevent in a public area through fogging, through frequent checks of larvae and all those. So very good information that told me Aedes aegypti is actually mainly in the housing area which bites at home, whereas Aedes albopictus is actually outdoors where it's seen in construction site and car parks. I will go through using this 3 things that we look at. In epidemiology, we often look at the epidemiological triad. So we look at host, agent, and environment. So this is agent, the agent that transmits the disease. environment. So the vector is actually Aedes mosquito. We look at the environment. Usually they breed in fresh water. As I said, car park, construction site, dump yard. These are the majority of the time that they breed. Simply because nobody clear this area. Say like you park around here. Where do you park your cars? The ringgit one, is it? Or where do you park? Within the building, do you notice any collection of pool of water? Especially the staff in KA block. If you look at it, there's a lot of collection of water, especially now. So it is a potential dengue breeding site. Everybody knows about it, but nobody actually take action on it. You call somebody to clean it, then rain again, then how frequent can you clean? So the cleaner will get fed up. The complaint from the office people, the Utah staff will also get fed up. Nobody will do it, so leave it alone. So that's why the outbreak cannot be contained, because it's always there due to our own human behavior and our negligence. Again, like dump yard, it's basically at a home where you have collection of rubbish that exposed to collection of water. Most of the time, it's either your duty or you blame it onto others, say like, why the DBKL, why they are not doing their job and all those. So sometimes we can't really wait for the government to take action on it. In other words, can you trust the government? Right? Now it's so into politics, we can't trust them. So we need to take our action on our own. We don't just talk about it, we don't say about it. Yes, they should do it, but then you yourself can actually take action. Okay, especially those who live in a condo would have some committee in a condominium. You can actually voice it out, and hopefully through the committee they will actually progress, look for a solution to solve all this problem. So there are multiple ways of doing it. Mosquito bite at dawn and dusk most of the time, okay? So this is very important. Most of the human activity is during this time. You go to work, you come out for class, it's at dawn. And then you come home from class, evening, or you go out for jogging or whatever activities, is dusk. So it is the most important time that you have your activity, at the same time they target you at those times. And international flood by Aedes. So in many years, I think a few decades ago, only limited the outbreak for dengue essentially limited to Asian countries. Now it's all over the world. Even previously Nepal wasn't there, now Nepal has it. So it is either spread by the human, where they carry the dengue virus back to their home country, and then they have similar vector, which is a mosquito, same mosquito, that bite them and start spreading from there. Or the mosquito can travel with your luggage and then pass it through the international airport. Like Spain had an outbreak in the airport itself because of this mosquito that spreaded there. So like, where are you from? The foreign countries? Syria. Where else? Yemen. Sudan.
Palestine.
You have dengue there? No. So it's important to keep your country safe if you go home. Do you go home?
After 2 weeks.
After these 2 weeks, or every 2 weeks? Every 2 weeks?
No, after.
I thought every 2 weeks so free, nothing to do. Okay, so after 2 weeks you'll be going back. It's best not to package up with the mosquito with you, otherwise you'll be bringing the disease back. So this one, nobody can check, the customer won't check, they can't check on this, it's too difficult to check. So you have to make sure, otherwise if you are the cause of your dengue outbreak in your country, then you're going to have problem.
But I think this kind of mosquito cannot live in our country because of the weather, very hot.
Different weather. Is it very tropical type? Do you get similar?
Yeah.
Okay. Having said that, although the tropical belt there has more of this disease, but it has also seen in Europe countries now. They can adapt to different types of temperature. Actually any insects, if you bring them to some other, not too extreme, but in gradual, they can start to adapt themselves. Just like human, like that. If you come from a hot country, you go to a cold country, at first you'll wear a lot of thick clothes, but slowly you start to remove your clothes because you can adapt to it. Same thing goes to mosquitoes and all the other insects. So yes, they might die immediately. Hopefully they die immediately. But some of them, maybe they hide somewhere, they get a nice, cozy, warm place and start breeding there. You never know. Okay. Of course, right now it's rainy season. We expect to have an outbreak sometime later when the rain, when the Aedes start hatching. We used to see seasonal peak after rain. Throughout the year we have seasonal peak. Unfortunately now in Malaysia it doesn't seem like seasonal anymore. It's throughout the year. The outbreak cannot be contained. It's all-time high. We can't really achieve a very low baseline. We used to have very little outbreak of the disease, and now it's all-time high. We can only try to reduce. It's not achievable to reduce to the previous state. Host, we looked at host means human. Okay, host susceptibility. So some of us actually have some protective factor, but it's not proven in science, and we don't really know why. Why some people has bitten by a mosquito with dengue, but do not develop the signs and symptoms. There's another issue here that's very important that you need to look at. Once you have dengue, who has been admitted for dengue or diagnosed with dengue before? Any of you here? So the thing is, you have your first time, your second time will be much serious than the first time because of the immunological response. Again, there's no full explanation because it's still new in this area. A lot of people are still investigating it. Usually, if you have a disease like chickenpox, you have almost lifelong immunity. I would say 99% lifelong immunity. When you have chickenpox, you won't get a second time. But for dengue, it's not. Instead of giving you immunity, you cause a worsening of your condition if you have a second time of dengue infection. Most of the time, you get more serious bleeding. You land up in ICU compared to the first time. So that is not much we can do. We are still investigating, and no drugs discovered so far. A lot of advancement now, trying to look at drugs, and of course vaccine. Only supportive treatment is the current treatment. So if you go to the doctor, they will tell you drink lots of water. Any warning signs, come to the doctor again, we'll admit you for IV fluids, to drip, give you a drip. So vaccines, hopefully, there is a lot of advancements from Pfizer, the pharmaceutical company. Again, vaccines has to target the 4 serotype. Okay, just now we look at then 1, 2, 3, 4 in the first slide when I show you. So if you want to have a vaccine, effective vaccine, you need to cover all 4. Unfortunately, when they tested it out, they covered all 4. I mean, they managed to create that. But unfortunately, when they tested out, serotype 2 is the poorest, which they cannot mount an immune response to it. And serotype 2 is the current circulating serotype in Malaysia. That is why there's a holdback from our government not to buy the vaccine. So a lot of investigation is still going on and testing is still going on. And also vaccines, if you look at the recent paper, I look at the recent paper, it shows that children who get vaccine, got the vaccination, they develop much more serious dengue compared to those who do not get the vaccine. So again, it is something about the immunology where they develop some immune system, but not protecting it. Instead, it worsens the problem. So it's something like you got bitten for the first time, you get dengue first time. When you get second time, you get serious problem again. So that is also a problem in the vaccine. That's why it cannot be out in the market so soon. So let's look at the current intervention in place. And after looking at it, I'm sure you'll say it's still useless because it's still ongoing outbreak. If you look from agent perspective, you look at the agent. So far, there is nothing conclusive on drugs. You heard about papaya leaf, papaya extract we talked about. Now they developed some papaya pills. What have you heard about it? You have Facebook, they always talk about all these things. Have you heard about it? Papaya extract, take a lot of papaya so that your dengue will go away. Anybody heard about it? So what do you think about this papaya? Say, what do they claim? They claim they can improve the platelet. Okay. They have IMR is Institute of Medical Research from our government. They came up with a study on papaya. They did two studies. One study is actually look at the outcome of the patient, whether they recover or not. So papaya is useless, they won't recover. But they found out that the platelet is actually increasing if they take papaya, increasing faster than usual. So platelet is one of the components in our blood. The function is actually to help to clot your blood. And if your platelet is low, likely that you have bleeding. That is why you see bleeding in dengue. Again, it is not the bleeding that costs your life in dengue infection. So why are we concerned about having the platelet increase so fast when the outcome is the same? Patients still die anyway. So why are we introducing this papaya if it's not useful? Therefore, it's not actually recommended or being introduced or popularized. People created pills and try to popularize it simply because it's business. Okay, dengue is so common, everybody will get misled by the information, then they start buying and eat it. In terms of research, in terms of implementation, it's not useful. Otherwise, government will have bought it and just pass it to you and eat it. Vaccination, as I said, not protective overall. Efficacy about 30%, possibly not protective in serotype 2. Okay, most of the time it's serotype 2, circulating dengue virus, but you do see 1 and 3 circulating around. Now, just now I have mentioned there's possibility of the 5th serotype. So the vaccine is only covering 4. What if next time there's a 5th one? So the vaccine has to be improvised. So again, nothing much can be done. For environment, I just briefly go through. Mainly, if you want to know about environment control, the person behind there will be able to explain to you. So let's look at these few things. COMBI is communication for behavioral impact. This is the definition, mobilizing all societal and personal influences on an individual and family to promote individual and family action. Forget about the definition, let me explain in simple terms. How we're actually going to use it is we mobilize the society through a significant person. Say you live in a condo, there's a chairman for the committee, or you have this village, the head of the village of your place. So all these are significant people, all religious, what you call the religious head. So through them, we engage the society to work on curbing dengue. If today I ask you to go back, go clean your home, go clean the house, your surrounding of your house, you definitely won't do it. This is for sure, definitely won't do it. Nobody likes being told what to do. So this is one of, I wouldn't say very successful, there's some good evidence that successfulness, is that we use someone closer to you, a leader that you look up to speak on behalf of the health care. And from there, he will lead, or he or she will lead the whole society to take on gotong royongs or any other intervention. So that is a concept of communication for behavior, communication to change the behavior so that you have an impact there. And of course, Aedes survey, we will actually look at the larva count and will count. It is very much entomology. I'm not too familiar, but I know they do count on eggs and count on the larva to see whether they reduce or not. Dengue case on the rise. Why? Fail to change behavior, community ignorance, lack of manpower. So all these are multifactorial. We don't really know. Yes, the program is successful, but the participation might be poor. Okay, fogging, as you know, fogging, every dawn and dusk they come and fog. Because of this, many people will close their doors, not to let them fog. You know, the whole idea is actually to open up the house and let them fog to chase out the mosquito at least. Again, a lot of evidence show that there is a problem with fogging. Fogging requires a huge task force. If you look at it, the whole thing will come to your area and start fogging. With this current outbreak, there are so many spots. We call it hot spots, outbreak of hot spots. How can one team cover so many areas? By the time they are supposed to fog twice a day, from at dawn and at dusk. By the time they fog at dawn of one particular region and go on, they have to go back and fog at dusk already. At a short period of time, they couldn't cover so many places, and most of the time they miss. If that is the case, not to say whether fogging effective or not, we will cast a doubt whether can it cause a resistance of mosquito. Since you only fog once, mosquito did not die, they start to develop resistance, they start to adapt to that and then develop resistance. So it could be an issue. Many research has shown that they have resistant capability. Again, you cannot do anything. That's all we can do. There's only fogging that we can do. There's nothing else. If we don't do this, then you start to blame the government why you didn't come and fog. And with fog, it's not effective at all, probably cause more problem. Then you start to blame government, you didn't fog good enough, you know, you have caused more problems. So again, the blame game is still there. Most of the time, you should not blame. Even in your studies life and all this, don't blame. But find a solution to the problem. Then you solve that. Government currently is working on very much on solving the dengue by collaborating with universities and whatnot. The issue is still the same. There's not much of improvement, but they are working very hard trying to find ideas to work on that. So if you have any ideas, brilliant ideas, bring it up to me, and I'll see how I can work on it. We work through research and prove it to be good, then we can propose to the government. This could be a possible solution to it. So students have a lot of ideas. You are very creative, you play games and all that, so you will know more than us. So the take-home message is that for your individual protection others, you will know how to do. Now, what should you do when you have fever? Most of the time, it's very high-grade fever. It's not mild fever. It will reach up to 40. Okay. It might be dengue or might not be dengue. Malaria is another common problem. Leptospirosis is another common problem. They can mimic dengue. They're almost the same. But whatever it is, you should go and see a doctor. Mainly after day 3 of fever, okay, especially if you don't have any symptoms at all. Why? Because in the first 3 days, usually doctors will tell you, okay, go home and drink lots of water, we'll give you some Panadol and that's it. Because we can't detect dengue in the first 3 days, okay, for most GPs and most hospitals. Of course, we have some new techniques, new tests that we can do it now, can detect first 3 days. And government is giving out free to those GPs using those test kits. So if you're lucky enough, then you get to test in the first 3 days, then it's fine. Then you get to test is dengue, then you be more aware of it. Unfortunately, this test kit is too, not to say expensive, just that you cannot distribute too many, the whole country. The government have limited stock. So right now, it's out of stock. A lot of GPs are facing that problem. So go back, some GPs will go back to the original plan, wait until 3 days, then only will test your blood. Okay, so the other thing is look out for warning signs and go to hospital. So let's look at what is warning signs. Here is a bit blur, I just read out to you. So this red box here is actually the warning signs where hospital admission is indicated. Okay, if you have abdominal pain, persistent vomiting, difficulty in breathing, tired, feel very tired, bleeding anywhere, let's say for female you have menses, overflow of menses, or menses that should not occur during the free period. Usually go month by month. So during those free periods you have menses again, then and coincide with fever, then it's a warning sign you must admit. The rest is more of clinical aspect where doctors will look at and examine. But what you need to know is actually abdominal pain, vomiting, difficulty in breathing, and if you feel very tired. So again, it's very non-specific. It can be any flu also. In the end of the day, it is getting the diagnosis check. Means check your blood, confirm it's dengue or not. That's all. Again, it's supportive treatment. So it's very difficult in the clinical aspect right now. If you go too early, and then you will probably get, well, I won't say you get shoved off, but you will be sent home, and then you need to come back again and again. But if you don't go too early, you could be facing the danger of dying because you come too late. So this is the issue now. We can't really tell you when is optimum time to come. Not like any other disease, we can tell you it's safe, or we can tell you you can come this early, then you'll be safe. But dengue is so difficult, we can't really predict what it is. So, in the end of the day, it is you yourself need to look at all these warning signs. One. Second thing, if you really think not well, don't delay it. Skip the exam if there's an exam. If any important event, skip that. Just go to the hospital and get it checked. At least you're in a safe hands. Or at least if anything happens, you can blame the doctor right now. So take home message, abdominal pain, persistent vomiting, breathless means you're out of breath, and bleeding, any bleeding. Okay, not necessarily mucous membrane, but any bleeding. And restlessness and lethargy, which is tired and you feel unwell. Restlessness, you just feel that you can't just sit still. So, any question? Any question that you want to ask, that, or you have ideas you want to contribute, you can contribute if you want. So I kept my promise, it's 30 minutes. Okay. So what are you going to do when you go home? Would you clean your house? I doubt it. So if you are free, if you are interested, try to look at your surrounding, look at collection of stagnant waters. Try to look at it, and if you are more adventurous or more in the research base, look at it few days. Don't go and disturb it. Just look at it few days and see whether they have larvae inside. If they have larvae, then there's a potential sign of breeding in the future also. Okay, so you probably can do something about it. It is as simple as a road with potholes. It's a potential sign. So we need to solve the problem by filling it up. That's so simple. Just like our car parks in KA block is full of water because of the irregular surface of the car park. What can we do about it? University should actually lay another layer, make it flat, no water collection. Okay. If there's nothing, thank you very much. Thank you for coming. Thanks to